What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the garage. It's been a minute. I think it's been about a week since I got out and ran boats, and it's just been killing me. I've been dying to get out and run. I've actually been waiting for a few things to come in the mail. I've got a lot of stuff coming. I'm actually really excited. It's been props. It's been an offshore electrics order, new motor, new ESC, rudder from Canada, actually, for this boat. And just yesterday, got the first one of my packages in. And huge shout out to Chris Hoffman at Das Boda for putting up with me. I was kind of a real pain, but I got these props and they are just beautiful. They're 447s. So on this boat, usually on catamarans, lately the ABCs seem to be what everyone likes running. And the ABCs are low lift, which is cool, but I've always kind of liked props that have some lift just because with the ABCs, you're going to have to run a lot of negative strut. You're going to have to push the batteries forward. And so what can happen with a boat like this, one thing that this boat will do is it'll have a tendency to kind of hook turn. So basically, when you're running, what'll happen, my understanding, is that if the CG is too far forward and the nose comes too far down, the boat will have a tendency the front end will grab and tend to hook turn. And that's not a good thing. And so when you have to run ABC props with a bunch of negative, a bunch of forward CG, anyway, it makes that issue worse. And so all that to say, huge shout out to Chris Hoffman. These are Octuras. This is what I kind of like to run on this boat. I'm going to go out today and test. I'm going to film. I'm going to take you guys with me. Very excited to get back out there. This is the Decepticon, and I have not shown you guys the inside of this boat yet. So this thing is an absolute screamer. I don't think we need to get too far into the weeds as far as what's actually in this boat, but I can tell you it's more or less the cheapest stuff that I had laying around. It's got Raider 150s, and basically I wanted to build this boat as an exercise in just using what you have or using cheaper electronics, because I feel like with some of my boats, it's so easy to say, okay, throw in Castle, throw in TP Power, throw in the nicest stuff. But the problem is that some of the tuning gets lost when you can just throw big power at everything. It's easy to make the power without necessarily a very efficient or well-running setup, right? So, if you're going to go spend $300 on each ESC and big expensive motors and stuff, yeah, the boat's going to run, it's going to be fast as hell, but it's never likely going to be as optimized as if you had to optimize it, if you were a little down on power. And so that actually brings me back to why I have these props, right? These are 44X 447s, matched set, and they're detongued to help free up some RPM, and they're also reduced slightly. And so they're about 45 millimeters, so close to like an M445. And again, all of this fine tuning that I'm doing with this boat is really because, let's be honest, I'm running the cheapest of the cheap electronics. And I'm not complaining. That's what I chose to do with this boat. I love this boat. It's one of my favorites. Really, this boat deserves nice stuff, because I really love the boat. Anyway, boat's very fast. It gets a little bit spicy at times, so we're trying to unload the boat a bit by detunging it, by reducing the size. My goal is keep these electronics happy, keep the boat happy. So it's a 6S boat, 6S per side. It's 36 inches long, so technically this would be a Q class boat, which would be a 6S boat. I don't race, but for those of you that do, that are curious. So the boat did come from Vietnam, inlaid. And so you can see this carbon fiber inlay. They actually use like a vacuum forming to do the inlay. So it's incredibly clean. I mean, for the boat, I was very impressed with the quality. They're a little hard to get from Vietnam. I know you can get them, but just shipping's crazy expensive, and you don't really see a lot of them. There is not a U.S. Retailer for these boats. So, and I wish there was. I wish you could go to Offshore Electrics and just pick one of these up from the U.S., but you can't. And so there's kind of a barrier. But essentially, you know, I ran, this is called saddle tape. I think it's called saddle tape. But it's essentially thin foam. It's like what pro boats come with that will seal the hatch. You know, I added hatch bolts, of course. They give you a nice spot to do that. This brace up here, this deck brace, so this I custom cut out of carbon fiber plate and epoxy top and bottom. If you guys can see that, adds an incredible amount of strength, right? So now you don't have any deck compression as well as any torsional twist, right? So something as simple as this brace can add a ton of strength. If you've got a Geico or a Zelos and you're worried about split seams, you know, getting rid of that compression is huge for that. So along that same line, these motor plates here that I custom cut, I'll try and get you guys in there. Custom cut those motor plates out of, I believe it's 2 or 3 millimeter carbon fiber plate. And so they actually wrap all the way up into the deck. So again, no compression back here. And so here's my custom water exits. This is just a 3/16 aluminum epoxied in place. I like this because you only need a really small hole. You're not boring out a huge hole and then using a huge fitting, right? This is as clean as it gets. I've got 2 of those back here as well. I've tightened up everything in the stingers from last time, including thicker O-rings so no grease can come out, keeping more grease on the cable. I have a new rudder coming in, and it's going to be a wider blade. A thinner blade should help with that hook turn as well as the responsiveness of the boat. Kind of a custom steering servo setup back there. All of that I did. That was all part of the build. Obviously the OSC carbon fiber trays, front end filled with foam. And that's really it, guys. So I'm going to throw props on the shafts. I'm going to make sure not to mix up the orientation. OSE is nice enough. If you ever get twin shafts from OSE, they're different colors. And I actually emailed them one time and I'm like, hey guys, what's up with this? Am I getting like a different quality? And no, they actually do that so you don't mix up the reverse cable. So the reverse side, which in my boat would be the left side, I tend to run my props inwards, is going to be this dark gray. So you makes it that much harder to screw it up. And because they're larger casting props, I do have to run these slightly larger, forgetting what this is called. You guys know what it is. Anyway, getting charged up, gonna get it charged, gonna get the new props on, gonna get the GPS charged. There will be a speed and there will be some running footage coming soon. I'll see you guys at the lake. Quick little peek before we head out. There's more batteries done. Check out these beauties. Look at the finish on those things. Man, I can't tell you guys how long. One of my favorite props is an M445, right? But you can't get those in a twin set until now. So I am stoked on these props, you guys. Gonna head out, gonna run the boat. Wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Batteries in, roughly where they're at. They are 6S 6000s CNHL packs. I've had great luck with these and been very happy with the packs. Torqued down the collets, got the 10 millimeter drivers, of course. And I don't know about you guys, but I crank these things down like my life depends on it. And I've always heard you can actually snap them by torquing them, you know, with full force. And in the years that I've been running boats. I've actually only once have I cranked that thing so hard that it snapped and the screw part actually split open. So $8 to replace that. It's only happened once, and I crank them down pretty hard, but I've never lost a prop, right? $70, $80 prop, very expensive set of props, and I never had one come out of my collet. So for whatever that's worth, that's the way I roll. I torque them down hard because I'm gonna snap something before I lose some of my prop jewelry. So everything's good to go. Front end is full of foam, noodles, always. GPS is gonna go inside because we got to get some testing. You know, these ESCs, these 150s are killer. In my opinion, they're better than the 180 by a mile. They've got a much larger heat sink as well as 2 cooling passages through them. They're also half the price. So in my opinion, these 150 Raiders are a no-brainer. You don't get the data logging, right? But for $60, what can you really expect? So boat's ready, we're loading up, we're going out, and can't wait to see how these things perform. All right, out here at the lake, got a couple fishermen down there trying to catch some trouser trout. I don't know why you wouldn't go to like the ocean or somewhere cool to catch big fish. They got little trouser trout out here. But anyway, oh look at them, they're freaking out. But anyway, out to test. We're gonna get a quick little speed rip. Try and go with the wind here. A little too much steering. Let's see here. Sub trim. Travel. Yeah, a little less steering. Do a speed pass. I don't know if those guys were yelling something. I don't know if they were talking to me. I sure hope not, because I'm pretty far away from them. Little oh man. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see what that one did. Let's see if he comes over here. Check that out. All right, speed is at 73. So we're down a few, but I don't think it's a problem, honestly, because I had these props cut down a couple millimeters and messed with, and I'd rather have less amps and a little more run time. Holy shit. Good grief. God damn, boys. Gonna get a couple hard laps in. Check the temps. Woo! Those fishermen down there are not happy, I'll tell you what. Maybe he'll come down here and I'll get you guys some viral footage. All right, quick temp check and then back in, another check. All right, so 73 on the last set of packs, and good speed. I'm gonna go ahead and do a nice little test strip to see, check it one more time. But okay, so actually very happy, because when I just checked temperatures, everything was like 114 was the highest temp. Right? And so that was kind of my biggest concern, was temperatures, right? So it's very, very fast, but now temps are completely reasonable with my Walmart cheapo electronics. So let's see what that one did. All right, so that last rip, just checked it, and 75. So not only is she shitting and getting, boys, but temps are okay. And so I think now we can just stand back, run a couple laps, and make sure I got you guys centered here, and try not to bug the dad and the fisherman. Man, I wish, you know, we all got to share the lake and kind of get along, you know, and the guy's with his kids, so I'm not going to mess with him, you know, but if you're going to yell like that and then have your kids yelling, you know, I mean, god damn, boy. Still a little loose, not loose. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I can't even really talk and drive at the same time. But anyway, my boat runs for like 3 minutes, right? And these guys will be out here all day fishing for trouser trout. And let's be honest, my boat's way more exciting than whatever fish they're not catching. I don't know, you guys tell me, do boats scare the fish away? I don't know, I find that hard to believe. I think maybe they just suck at fishing, honestly. She's running good, boys. Props are exactly what I wanted. Very happy. I'm gonna go a hair down on the struts. Oh, this is odd, you guys. I popped my lid off and there was some smoke, right? And it almost smelled electrical. I mean, nothing in the boat. 116 is probably the hottest temp. I saw 130 on a wire. I saw 130. Maybe it's coming from the grease in the stuffing tubes. I'm gonna check the battery voltage, check everything out, but nothing's hot, and I saw some smoke.